tell us, obviously you went from full-time employee to full-time entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
How are those days different from what it used to be to what it is today?
So different, man. Yeah, kind of like I talked about earlier. It was, sitting in a commute, and I think it was like 45 minutes either way.
That's 90 minutes a day already.
That's a long time right there. And then obviously 2 weeks vacation a year, which was awful. And I was always thinking and planning for that next vacation, requesting time off, having to fake sick days to go snowboarding, just stuff like that. That it's funny to look back and think that was 2 years ago, but. Whereas now it's able to travel full time, wake up when I want, go to bed when I want. If there's a Saturday and I want to get a project done, you do it. And if you want to take a Wednesday off, you do. So it's really nice kind of having that flexibility for sure.
Freedom over your time and location.
Yeah. 100%.
Fantastic.
Because growing up my whole time, I thought I wanted to do Fortune 500, sexy marketing position, and that's kind of what I was working for in internships and in school and academics. That's just kind of the goal that I was aiming for. And then graduated from college, started doing sales for a pretty large company, and really, really, really quickly learned after doing the 9-to-5 kind of corporate America thing for a while that it was just not for me. And it didn't take long to realize that 2 weeks vacation a year, awful. Being tied to a desk, terrible. It really. I just needed to get out of there quick. So I think it was only like 6 or 8 months after graduating college that I actually joined Accelerate on the side of still working full time, so still getting paychecks, still able to work, and probably putting like 10 to 15 hours per week towards Accelerate and building out my brand STAGrack. And really just went through the process. It took about 7 or 8 months from basically the idea, which was just it's a scratch your own itch is what I call it, which is just a product that solves a problem that you have yourself.
Cool. As you said, scratch your own itch sort of idea. This is something you wanted and you made it. Can you walk us more through that ideation?
Sure, definitely.
Product idea type of phase that you went through?
So kind of how I came up with STAGrack was, like I said, it was a product that I needed myself, and it's kind of funny because I didn't have any intentions of launching this brand specifically.
Never saw yourself as a rack.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm not passionate about roof racks or anything like that, but I snowboard, I surf, I mountain bike, and was really just looking for options. I was living downtown Seattle, drove a Mazda 3, and my snowboard wouldn't fit in the trunk. My bike, obviously strappy racks that chip your paint. There's different options out there. There's even, a competitor out there that made a similar product to what, STAGrack looks like today. But it was really just not having a good solution. And then once I kind of realized that, and my best friend had the same exact problem, we realized that, all right, like if we make a solution that's good enough for us as the end user and good enough for other customers as well, that we're going to be able to actually start a business out of this and actually be able to, solve something that's not just an accessory or a nice to have, but for people driving the Mazda 3s or really our biggest demographic, which is the Tesla driver, just being able to actually solve that problem is, it's really utilitarian like that.
Made more than $15,000 in 24 hours, hit your funding goal in 1-2 hours, I'm pretty sure. Can you, I guess, for founders watching this and entrepreneurs who really want to come up with the idea of, all right, I want to make something, I want to solve my own problem, what would you tell a founder who's sitting there right now watching this video saying, I want to start my business, I want to launch my business, what do I do next?
I think taking action, as everyone always talks about, is so important, but I think one of the big reasons why I joined Accelerate essentially in the beginning was making sure that the action I took was in the right direction and not doing steps out of order, getting distracted, chasing shiny objects, but really knowing, all right, I want to have just a few months, launch this successfully while still being able to work full time, still be able to have a social life and not feeling like I need to go all into this or doing things out of order. So I think really taking action, but making sure that it's directed in the right area and the right tasks. Which for me was one of the big things I got out of Accelerate was the kind of the no fluff approach, which is it's a million ways to sell something online, but it's what are the few ways that are tried, tested, and work consistently.
Keep it simple.
Yeah, keep it simple. Exactly.
One thing I love to discuss, which a lot of people shy away from, is mistakes, things you did that you shouldn't have done. At the end of the day, everybody can learn from each other's journey and experience, right? So for you, what was the number one mistake that you had in your own journey that you would love to help other founders avoid?
Sure. Yeah, and I think one of the big things that the program teaches, and of course I took it to heart, but maybe not quite as much as I should have, was really getting your customer base in place before you even consider launching. And it does get hard, and I hear this from other founders as well, where you get a few early customers that are really excited to buy your product, and you kind of want to rush it along and get launched for those people and for their satisfaction. But really, you want to make sure that you have twice as many, 4 times as many, 10 times as many people as you need for a successful campaign, before ever pressing that launch button, which it takes patience. Obviously, you kind of see this finish line and you really want to just launch successfully, but making sure to have the patience while going through is something that I guess you could call it a mistake. It was still successful in the end, but I could have done better for sure.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Patience.
Absolutely.
100% agree. Patience and making sure you can only launch your business once, right? So it's very important to make sure that you actually launch when you're ready. And that readiness depends on data and numbers, not emotions and feelings. And I think a lot of people convolute that pretty often, where they think they need to launch because it's how they feel. And you just launch when you're ready. So I got to ask, how did you know you were ready to launch your business? When did you decide, all right, Stag is ready to bring it live? Yeah.
And there are a lot of numbers at play, kind of like you were talking about. I think one of the big things that I got the most value out of while going through the program, and I would do anytime I launch a new business, is through customer interviews. Probably close to 60 or 70 customer interviews, which is really, remember at this time it was still only a 3D rendering. I think maybe I had an early prototype, but it was still a digital rendering of this product that hadn't been existed yet. And basically getting their ideas of what features do they want to see, what features could they live without, what do they want for the look, the feel, the price, just kind of gauging the interest of the buyers. And after I heard from these 60, 70 people that it's addressing their need, and as long as we hit XYZ features, they're going to be buying at the time of our Kickstarter. I think for me,
how many of those customer interviews turned into actual customers?
Yeah, about 40 to 50. So, at least 75%.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So I think that's a big part of it. So for me, it was kind of getting those customer interviews out of the way, making sure that I had all that good data and information, and then translating that into knowing I had people ready to go to buy this, to at least at 100% in the first day.
I was going to say, you needed 20, 30, I think it was 30 or 40 customers.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
You talked to 60, 70.
Yep. Ended up selling about 50.
Yeah, and the more preparation led to better execution.
Right,
and
definitely.
That ended up with the business. Cool, and where are you taking Stag in 2021?
2021, well, hopefully it's nothing like 2020, but no, 2021. Stag's been growing, and basically since the 2 years that we've launched on Kickstarter, it's really been just kind of getting all the processes in place, like we talked about, for automation, for scalability, for outsourcing. So, customer service, shipping, fulfillment, production, assembly, just making sure that I can, travel full time, not have to put 60, 70 hours into this a week, and still grow this business, which is my baby. It really feels like it. So we've been hitting some pretty good revenue targets recently, and this next year, we're going to keep scaling up, and I think we're going to have our first 6-digit month probably within pretty early in the year. So
love it.
Yeah, looking forward to that.
Best of luck.
Thanks, man.
Cheers.
Yeah.